Hello everyone, welcome back to Sugar Cafe and sorry for not doing a proper intro for this video. That's because I have to hurry up because my friend's birthday is in 2 days. My friend absolutely loves Studio Ghibli stuffs and she loves handmade things as well. And so I promised her that I would be making something for her birthday. But one thing you should know about me is I'm a very forgetful person, so of course I forgot about it. So I have exactly 2 days to complete this whole project. So I'm going to start with the resin part because it's going to take 24 hours to dry completely. And also I will be using a new mold that you saw earlier in the video. It's one of the most expensive molds that I have ever bought and I have never really used it before, so I'm super excited to use it as well and also to see how it will turn out at the end. So stay tuned to see how it turns out. Good morning everyone. So 24 hours later, as I can see, the resin is completely cured, so it's time to demold it. Before I demold the pieces, I quickly want to thank today's sponsor Squarespace. As you guys might already know that I'm really bad at technical things, but Squarespace solves that issue by providing you with pre-designed templates that you can choose from. And once you do that, you can then fully customize it by choosing the colors, the text, and my favorite is the Fluid Engine feature by which you can just drag and drop the images. And with these plus more amazing features, I was able to create my own website within hours without knowing anything about website making. So this year, build your dream website by using Squarespace, and the best part is you can try all these features for free by visiting squarespace.com. And when you are ready to launch your site, head over to squarespace.com/sugarcafecharms to get 10% off on your first purchase of a domain or a website. And thank you so much Squarespace for sponsoring today's video and supporting my business. And so now let's demold the pieces and see how it turned out. Needless to say, I was super scared while I was demolding this because as I said, I have never used this mold before, and also if it doesn't turn out the way I want, I have no time to remake this. So hopefully this turns out good. The colors turned out pretty well. The only thing that I'm a little upset about is the small air bubbles that has formed because it was a huge quantity of resin, so I will be more careful next time, but other than that it looks pretty good. And now finally I can move on to the clay components, but before that I am quickly drawing everything up so that I know which color will go well with the colors of the jar.
এটাই স্পিরিটেড অফের নো ফেসটা না?
হ্যাঁ, এটার নাম এটা নো ফেস কেন বলে বলতো? এটা ওর ফেস না, এটা ওর
আমি দেখেছিলাম এই অ্যানিমেটা, বদমাস ছিল এটা।
It's evening time and I'm finally moving on with the clay components. I am starting with my favorite, which is the Totoro. I really did not have time to add a lot of details, so I tried to make the Totoro in the most simple way possible. Basically what I did was I made a flat oval shape and then I pinched out the ears. After that was nice and smooth, I added the eyes. I am just adding white balls of clay and pressing them to make it flat. I also made the white belly and press it down to make it nice and smooth, and then I added the black part of the eyes. After that was done, I rolled out a thin strip of clay and then with that I made the mouth and also the whiskers. And I also added the small details on the belly of the Totoro using the same black strip of clay. And as always, before adding any details, I am adding a small dab of glue so that everything can stick perfectly. I am finally finishing off the Totoro by adding a leaf on its head, and then I can move on to the smaller Totoro, and I'm using the exact same method to make the smaller ones as well, which is making a flat oval shape and then pinching out the ears. After it was all nice and smooth, I added the belly and then I will be adding the eyes. I used the same method of adding the white clay and then the black clay on top and pressing everything up to make it nice and even. Our two Totoros are done and now I can move on to the next character, which is the No Face. This is my friend's favorite character from the whole Studio Ghibli universe, so I definitely had to include it. This was also pretty easy to make. All I had to do was make a flat oval shape and then I added the mask using white clay. After that was all nice and even, I cut out thin strips of black clay and I made the eyes using this. And after the eyes were done, I mixed up some purple color clay that I then cut out into two small triangles and I just added them on either side of the eyes. Lastly, I added the hand and the mouth and our no face was done as well. At the very end, I also decided to make this tiny little white creature, which I don't know what its name, but it's really cute and it's easy to make, so I decided to include it last minute. I also wanted to include some suit sprites because I think a Studio Ghibli universe is incomplete without them. So I just quickly made them using this cookie mold and all our characters were done. Moving on to the actual jar, as I said, it had a lot of tiny air bubbles, so I tried sanding it down, but honestly, I regret it now because it resulted in a lot of scratches. So, in an attempt to hide them and make it a little bit more better, I am drawing some clouds and also adding some shades to the grass. All the components are done now, and finally we can move on to attaching everything and bringing this all together. I am using E6000 glue to attach everything in place, but I think a glue that dries quicker will work better for this because as you can see the Totoro was just sliding off the jar. But after a while it was dry and I just kept moving on and added more and more characters and all the details all around the jar and finally finished it off. Finally adding some tiny little details like the suit sprite's eyes, some little clouds, and before I knew, it was all done. Finally, this is how the jar turned out. This is not perfect, but I made it with lots of love and lots of care. This was my first time using this mold, so I definitely learned a lot of things. And of course, I will be more careful from next time, but I still think that this turned out pretty cute and captures the Ghibli vibe pretty nicely. But Ghibli fans, let me know in the comments whether you guys like it or not. And if I gifted you this on your birthday, would you like it? Let me know in the comments. Bye!